Hello, I am Hani from the USA. Today, the story I am going to tell you was sent to me by one of my subscribers from a quiet town near Denver, Colorado. Before we begin, I hope wherever you are safe, happy, and doing well. May God ease all your worries, heal those who are sick, and grant peace to those who have passed away. And don't forget to remember me and my family in your prayers. My name is Hani, and I narrate real horror stories sent by my subscribers. The subscriber who sent this story, his name is Daniel. Daniel says, I live in Colorado, and I've always loved riding on empty roads late at night. Weekends were my escape because I worked a government job, and nights were the only time I felt free. I had recently bought a new sports bike, even though I already had another one for daily use. Every weekend, I would go out riding with my younger brother and my cousin who was in the military and often posted in different cities. We used to leave home late at night, telling our mom we were just going out to eat, but in reality, we would disappear into the mountains, riding through dark, silent roads. Sometimes we'd go far beyond the city, to places where almost no one goes at night. We laughed, sang songs, even turned off our bike lights sometimes just to feel the darkness around us. It was thrilling. But one night, everything changed. That night, we decided to ride toward a mountain road outside Denver. There was a sharp turn up there and a small resting spot beside it. As we approached that turn, we noticed something lying on the side of the road. At first, it looked like a black trash bag. My bike had a powerful LED light so I could see clearly from a distance. I said to my brother, "Looks like garbage," but he replied, "No, it's moving." That's when I felt something was wrong. We stopped, and for some reason, we decided to go back and check. My younger brother got off the bike and slowly walked toward it. I kept telling him, "Don't go, just leave it." But he didn't listen. We honked the horn, and whatever it was moved slightly. As we got closer, we realized it wasn't a bag, it was a sleeping bag, and inside it, there was a man, an old man. My brother slowly opened the zipper and said, "Sir, are you okay?" The environment around us was completely silent. No cars, no people, nothing. Just us and that old man, lying alone in the darkness. He had a long white beard, and his eyes were unnaturally red. I stayed on the road, holding the bike, ready to escape if anything went wrong. Something inside me was screaming, "This is not normal." The old man slowly gestured with his hand and said in a low voice, "Leave, go away from here." My brother, being kind and religious, insisted, "Sir, do you need water? Are you okay?" But the old man suddenly raised his voice and said again, "Leave." At that moment, something about his voice felt wrong, not human. Before I continue, if you are enjoying this story so far, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this only get darker from here. My brother stepped back, but the old man started muttering something under his breath. We couldn't understand what he was saying. It felt like some kind of ritual or chanting. The place we were standing was completely isolated. Above that road, there was nothing. No houses, no lights, no signs of life. Suddenly, the old man stood up, and what we saw next still haunts me to this day. He was extremely short, almost like the height of a child, but his face was not normal. It was larger than it should have been. His beard looked unnatural, and his eyes burning red. When he was lying down, he looked normal, but now, standing in front of us, he looked like something else entirely. And then he started shouting at us, abusing us, and as he did that, his skin started turning darker, until it became completely black. At that moment, fear took over. I almost dropped my bike. We immediately turned around and started riding away, but we had no idea that this was just the beginning.
The moment we turned the bike and sped away, my heart was racing like never before. That old man's voice, it wasn't normal. And the way his face changed, I knew we had made a terrible mistake by stopping there. At that moment, I had already made a plan in my mind. If anything went wrong, I would ride the bike downhill and escape as fast as possible, because going uphill on that road was slow and dangerous. But in panic, I made the worst decision. Instead of going downhill, I accelerated uphill. My cousin was sitting behind me, my younger brother in the middle, and everything became chaotic. We didn't even realize who was sitting where anymore. All we knew was we had to get away. The road was dark, silent, empty. And then we saw a narrow path leading down into the forest. Without thinking, we turned into it. That was our biggest mistake. The path was steep, going deeper and deeper into darkness. No street lights, no signs, nothing. Just trees and silence. After a few minutes, we saw a faint light in the distance. At that moment, it felt like hope. Like maybe someone was there. Maybe we could find help. We kept riding toward that light, praying under our breath, reciting whatever we could remember, because fear had completely taken over us. I could feel tears in my eyes, but I couldn't stop. My cousin shouted from behind, "Don't stop the bike, no matter what." I yelled back, "Why would I stop?" Even in that moment, we started arguing out of fear. Finally, we reached the light. It was a small house, old, isolated, almost like a cabin in the woods. My brother didn't even wait. He jumped off the moving bike and ran toward the door. The bike was still running, but none of that mattered. All we wanted was safety. He knocked on the door, once, twice, 3 times, and then the door slowly opened. What we saw next destroyed us. Standing in front of us, inside that house, was the same old man. The same white beard, the same red eyes, the same terrifying presence. For a moment, my brain refused to understand what I was seeing. We had just left him behind, on the road far above. So how was he here? My entire body froze. My cousin started crying, and I couldn't even speak. The old man just stood there, looking at us, silently. The place around us didn't feel real anymore. We looked behind us, and something even more terrifying happened. The path we came from was gone. There was no road, no way back, no direction, nothing. It felt like we were trapped in a place that didn't exist. The old man still didn't step outside. He just stood at the door, watching us. The air felt heavy, like something was pressing down on us. We didn't wait any longer. Out of pure fear, we got back on the bike and drove straight into the forest. No path, no direction, just darkness. Branches hitting us, the sound of the engine echoing in emptiness, and our hearts pounding like drums. After what felt like forever, suddenly, we saw people, lights, cars, voices. We had somehow reached back near the main road, close to a crowded viewpoint. We didn't stop. We didn't talk. We just kept riding, as fast as we could, all the way back toward the city. But something was still wrong. As we rode on the highway, I noticed something above us. A white bird, flying just a few feet above our heads, matching our speed. No matter how fast we went, it stayed there. And then we started hearing something else. It sounded like hundreds of footsteps,
like a herd of animals running alongside us, but there was nothing there, just darkness. The bird stayed with us all the way until we reached the city. That night, we didn't sleep. We sat at a friend's house until sunrise, trying to understand what had just happened. But deep inside, we knew this wasn't over. After that night, nothing in our lives stayed the same. At first, we tried to convince ourselves that it was just fear. Maybe our minds were playing tricks on us. But within days, things started going wrong. Very wrong. The first thing that happened was with my younger brother. He suddenly got a high fever. Not normal fever. It was intense, strange, and it wouldn't go away. We took him to doctors, ran tests, spent money, but nothing worked. No diagnosis, no clear reason. At the same time, problems started appearing in every part of our lives. My job, the job I had been doing for years, suddenly ended. Out of everyone in my department, I was the only one who received a termination notice. No warning, no reason. I was supposed to get promoted that month. Instead, I lost everything. Then, my sister's engagement broke, and my own relationship with the girl I loved started falling apart. We were deeply in love. We had plans for the future. Everything was perfect. But suddenly, she changed. She started saying things like, "This relationship won't work anymore," without any reason. We began fighting over the smallest things, things that never mattered before. It felt like something was breaking everything around us. And it didn't stop there. Our financial condition collapsed.
After that night, nothing in our lives stayed the same. At first, we tried to convince ourselves that it was just fear. Maybe our minds were playing tricks on us. But within days, things started going wrong. Very wrong. The first thing that happened was with my younger brother. He suddenly got a high fever. Not normal fever. It was intense, strange, and it wouldn't go away. We took him to doctors, ran tests, spent money, but nothing worked. No diagnosis, no clear reason. At the same time, problems started appearing in every part of our lives. My job, the job I had been doing for years, suddenly ended. Out of everyone in my department, I was the only one who received a termination notice. No warning, no reason. I was supposed to get promoted that month. Instead, I lost everything. Then, my sister's engagement broke, and my own relationship with the girl I loved started falling apart. We were deeply in love. We had plans for the future. Everything was perfect. But suddenly, she changed. She started saying things like, "This relationship won't work anymore," without any reason. We began fighting over the smallest things, things that never mattered before. It felt like something was breaking everything around us. And it didn't stop there. Our financial condition collapsed.
He said, "I cannot see who did this. For the first time, I cannot see it." That sentence terrified us because it meant whatever we were dealing with was not normal. That's when I finally told my father everything about that night, about the old man, about what we saw on that mountain road. My father broke down. He said, "Why didn't you tell me earlier? If I had known, things wouldn't have gone this far." At that moment, we realized something chilling. That night was not just a random encounter. We had interrupted something, something we were never supposed to see. And now, we were paying the price. But we still didn't know how bad it was about to get.
After I told my father everything, the atmosphere in our house changed. Now we weren't confused anymore. We were scared. Because deep down, we knew. This all started that night. The man we met earlier told us something important. You didn't just see something, you interfered in something powerful. He said that whatever we had disturbed had been in process for months, and by stopping that old man, by opening that sleeping bag, we had ruined it. Those words matched exactly with what that old man had shouted at us. You ruined my work. I won't leave you. At that moment, everything started making sense. But the problem was, we still didn't know how to fix it. That man demanded a lot of money, said he needed sacrifices and strange rituals. My father agreed at first because my brother's condition was getting worse. But slowly, we realized something. He wasn't helping. He was just taking money. We had already lost so much, and now we were losing even more. My father finally said, enough. We stopped going to him, but things didn't improve. In fact, they got worse. At that point, a relative told us about someone else. He said, there is a man, not easy to find. He lives deep in a forest far from the city, but if you find him, he can fix anything. We had no other option. So one day, my father, my cousin, and a few elders from our family set out to find that man.
It was a long journey, hours of travel through remote areas until we reached a small village. From there, we had to go even deeper into a forest. People in the village told us, he doesn't stay in one place. You have to search for him. We spent 2 days looking. Finally, we found him. In the middle of the forest, there was a small circular clearing. The ground had been cleaned, and around it, wooden sticks were placed in a circle, covered with green cloth. Inside that circle, he was sitting. His appearance was strange. Long, curly hair, very thin body, but something about him felt powerful. He signaled everyone to stay outside, except me and my cousin. We stepped inside the circle. He looked at us and in a deep voice said, "You didn't tell your family everything. You are destroying yourselves." My cousin looked at me. My father started crying behind us. I had never seen him cry like that. He said, "My son is dying. My family is breaking. Please help us." The man suddenly hit the ground hard and started speaking in a language we couldn't understand. It didn't sound normal. It felt ancient. Then he looked at my father and said, "You can't afford what this will cost." My father replied, "I will give anything." The man demanded a huge amount of money. We didn't have that kind of money anymore. But after negotiation, he agreed to help us for less. Then, he asked my father to bring a bottle from a cabinet nearby.
And then he told me something strange. Lie down. I did. A few seconds later, he said, "Now sit up." Everything felt off. The ground was wet, muddy. The air felt heavy. Then he stood beside me and said, "Close your eyes." I closed my eyes, and what I saw next was worse than anything before.
As soon as I closed my eyes, I wasn't in that forest anymore. I saw my house, clear, like I was really there. Inside my house, my younger brother was lying on his bed, weak, helpless, barely moving. And then I saw him, the same old man, the one we saw on the mountain road. He was standing beside my brother. In his hand, he was holding a large piece of raw meat. And then he started hitting my brother's face with it, over and over and over again. My brother was crying, trying to move, but he couldn't. There was blood, so much blood. I tried to open my eyes, but I couldn't. My body was frozen. Tears were rolling down my face. I could feel them reaching my ears, but I still couldn't move. Inside my heart, I was begging, "Please stop. We made a mistake. Leave my brother. We'll do anything." But he didn't stop. He kept hitting him relentlessly. That moment broke me completely. Then suddenly, everything disappeared. I opened my eyes. I was back in the forest. The man looked at us and said something that shook us to our core. "If you had come one day later, your brother would have been dead." Silence. No one spoke. No one could. Then he said, "You only have until tonight." After that, he performed something we didn't understand. We just followed what he told us.
Before leaving, my father gave him money, everything he had left. The man handed us a bottle and said, "Take this." When we looked inside, there was black salt. He told us, "Feed this to your brother." We went home. That night felt endless, but slowly, things started changing. My brother's condition started improving. Within days, he was getting better, and then something unbelievable happened. Everything that was broken started fixing itself. The houses we had lost came back to us. My father's business recovered. My sister got a new proposal, a better one, and my relationship was restored. It felt like a storm had passed, and peace had finally returned. It has been 3 years since that incident. We never go out at night like that anymore. And to this day, we still don't fully understand what we experienced. But one thing is certain. Some things in this world are not meant to be disturbed. And if you ever cross their path, you might not get a second chance. This was Daniel's story. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another real horror story. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next story. Best of luck.